We could see Intramuros in flame from where we were at. It was so bad that the flame, you could see it 200-300 feet in the air. Intramuros was a fortified site that was called the Walled City. That's where the Japanese were. And at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, we were told to go in.
The scene that greeted us in Manila was very depressing. Manila was devastated. All the buildings were down in rubbles. We could still smell the stench of death. And I often wondered why Manila was so devastated, because as I understand, Manila was declared as an open city. Yet it was purely destroyed.
I was with the Philippine Civil Affairs Unit number 20. Our main purpose was to give relief and find jobs for the civilians, to help those that are in need of food, clothing, or whatever the need may be. Each person had a specific job to do. Those in the medical field, they had their job to do. Those in the giving out food to the civilian, they had their job to do. I was also a Jeep driver, and I could see where the ladies and the young girls were all wearing burlap sack. They had no clothes. And I know they were hungry. So we would relay back to the command post and tell them that there were children out here that needed clothes and food.
In March 1945, a shipload of replacement troops from California lands in Leyte. Among them are 50 young men from Hawaii, American-born and sons of Filipino immigrants, ages 18 to 20. They are assigned to the 1st Filipino Infantry Regiment, now involved in mop-up operations.
They took us by barge to the island of Samar. And then they marched us up into the hills. We dropped 4 boys here, another 5 boys there, and then we were in the battle zone.
There's 12 of us per squad, and each squad is isolated from another. You're on your own. Everything is on your own. So if you take anybody out of that squad, in which we have such an area to guard, get it. All I can say is see the whites of the eye and make sure they're down.
While we were in camp, we would always hear about people picking up souvenirs, you know. And when I read Time magazine, these guys were talking about swords. And so this one day, I happened to get up on a hill, maybe about 2 minutes before I heard chik-chik, someone cutting grass. And it was a Japanese soldier coming up. So I took a prone position, and I was thinking, in training, take the prone position and squeeze. Before I knew it, the gun went off. So that Japanese fellow just dropped. And that was the first time I had encountered the enemy, and I didn't pull the trigger. It just went. The next morning, I had to lead the troops down that path that this Japanese had cut. And when I went down, I figured I'd take a souvenir. So I cut the string around his neck. That night, when I peeled the rag to see what was in it, I saw a lock of hair and a picture of his family. It really brought all the stupidity of what we were doing, because here this young fellow was still all of his people with him in such a dangerous position. Manuel and I were in our pup tent. Then came the news that America dropped the atomic bomb. The war was over. As we thought of the events of the 3 past days, we cried like kids, knowing it was all over.
I now invite the representatives of the Emperor of Japan and the Japanese government and the Japanese Imperial General Headquarters to sign the instrument of surrender at the places indicated.
So the regiment got together in Dulag, and it was then that we noticed that the old-timers came with different patches. They were Peacows, they were Alamo Scouts, they were the reconnaissance team, and they were CIC. It was only then that the Hawaii boys really realized the depths of what these old-timers did. We had no idea that they had preceded MacArthur in collecting data and watching the ships. And then, and only then, did we begin to feel the pride in the men of the regiment.
I am authorized and directed by the President of the United States to proclaim the independence of the Philippines as a separate and self-governing nation.
Me and a couple of boys, we took leave on Independence Day. As far as your eyes can see is all people. We had to park our Jeep away from town and walk with the crowd. The bridges was they're like ants all over the whole city.
With this ceremony, a new nation is born.
There was pandemonium around. All the people were just shouting and showing the exuberance. All of a sudden, they started playing an American military tune, and I looked up. Now, as I watched the Filipino flag being raised in the place of the U.S. flag, I was just a mixture of emotions. I felt very proud that I was a Filipino. Now, the Philippines, once again, belong to the Filipinos.
I told my mom that I might not come back alive. I didn't think I could make it. But thank God I did come home alive. We went underneath the Golden Gate Bridge, and it was a beautiful sight what we had seen. I never thought I'd see that bridge again. It means that you're home. That's what it means, that you're home.